Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Monday, February the 28th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. It's time for the monthly wrap up. Last trading day of the month. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So, we're about 30 pips below the monthly open, so it's possible we close green. If you caught my video last night, there was a big gap down 100 and some pips. Well, guess what? That gap has been filled. And yes, I am kicking myself for not, quote unquote, just gambling on that trade. As you can see, there's still some gaps that haven't been filled. Anything could happen. But I was stressing and following my trading plan, which wasn't to take that trade yesterday because I wasn't going to be able to manage the trade. Of course, I could have just put a TP on and a stop loss on and walked away, but that's not how I normally trade. So I didn't want to do anything out of the norm. As you can see, we are below the monthly and the yearly opening range right here. And we're 110 pips below the yearly open, 26 now below the monthly open, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. We are in the inside bar that happened one day ago. This was Friday. And we're close to the monthly inside bar that happened 4 months ago. Once again, there's some nice inside bar action on the daily and on the monthly, not so much on the weekly. Lots of pairs over 100 pips. I guess this last trading day of the month, traders are making their moves. And you can see that gap, and you can see that that gap has been closed. Once again, taking the long right there in the first hour in the buy zone. Price has not looked back. So I guess maybe what's happening is this could have been an overreaction. Probably going to at least do a 50% retrace. I don't know if that'll happen this month or next, but we'll just wait and see. As I had mentioned earlier, I said to be really careful trading short out of the red rat zone. So once again, we're in the red rat zone, but with 118 pips, you could look for a short, but as you can see here, there's definitely, there seems to be a push to the upside. Pivots, we took out the daily, said at or near the pivot, bias was short. First time came down, hit the pivot, went up, turned around, came through the pivot, almost tried to take it out again. The pivot at 34.05. So the first short would have been worth something, and there was a small one a second time. But as you can see, price has turned to move away that pivot. So daily's been taken out. Weekly, we're 21 pips away from the weekly pivot at, call it 134.41. And we'll see if we take out that pivot, because that's the only missed pivot this year on the weekly. And monthly, we took that out a long time ago. We were in and out of the lower wick zone from the previous day. Now we've entered the upper wick zone. First time got rejected. Let's see what happens if we go out the top side or out the bottom side. Looking at the weekly range, we're up to 118 pips today, and that's still low for the week. For the day, over the past 12 days, 180, or at the 83 percentile. So you can see here, it's definitely a big day. High minus close, only 5 pips at the moment. Close minus low, 113 for you rats. Buy zone traders, 118. High minus open, but open minus low didn't happen. This price just took off, never went down. Looking at the Walmart lines, sweet spot gold, simple price action trading here. As you can see, we've had some nice moves, and this hour paid off going long. Last hour paid off going long. And looking at the lowest high, highest low, you can see we put in a new 3-ball in the last 5-minute candle. We've got a lower high right here. See, we broke out of this area here, delineated by these 2 balls. And you can also see how the 1 ball's squeeze was in. Something had to give. And you can look at this on other time frames also. You can see here we put in a lower high on the H1 time frame. So if you like trading the longer time frames, you can see this still works. It doesn't just work at the 1 minute or 5-minute level. Some people like M15. And you can see here the last trigger was here. Price broke it and never looked back. But if you like trading smaller time frames, you can see you'd be getting a trigger right now. You had a trigger and price reversed. But one thing about using this type of setup is when the lines are close together, you can tell price is ranging. It's when it spreads apart that it happens. And so right there, that trigger was just worth a couple of pips. And one slight rule of thumb is that when, price has been moving up a lot and then all of a sudden it comes back down, you saw that number was a 2 right there. Usually I'd take the 2 pips and be done with it, especially with this 1 ball that just got put in. Just price isn't doing what you want it to do, get out. So, you got 1, 2, it came down. 3rd time, just take your money off the table. Now, it could come crashing down. That's quite possible. But since you don't know, because it's trading, just take what you can get, because otherwise you'd wind up, especially if this comes back up, you're going to be upset. Right now, you just might be upset if you hadn't taken the money. So that's the thing about price. If it's not going the way you want it to go when you're in a trade and you're up, lots of times just get out, especially if you see your pip count decreasing. I mean, this could say, you know what? I think it's going to go here. And I don't think it's going to go there. So if you want to put those type of parameters on, where you put your stop loss here, your TP here, you sit back and wait, that's also a way to trade. Because price just broke through the 20. So as Walmart would say, you have to know who you are. Are you a smash and grab type trader, just taking a couple? Or are you more of a market structure, risk reward, longer term trader? You just have to figure out who you are. And as you can see, price is now moving down. Let's just see if it hits this line. And so actually, taking this trade, you could have actually placed your stops anywhere from above this level here to somewhere above this level. Because you can see here, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then you just see if you can take that price action. And the other alternative is depending on how many trades you enter, you could always take off part of the position. You could then move your stop loss, say, to just break even +1 or whatever, and then see what happens. A lot of times, though, I'll tell you, I've moved my stop to break even +1 more times than I care to remember, only to see price come back, take out my stop, and then continue. Where I might have been up 5, 6 pips, I wind up with 1 pip. So the question is, was I greedy? It's like, no, but as you can see here, price hit the line. So had you taken that approach, stop loss here or here, take profit at the line, you'd be up. And once again, price is continuing to make its move back towards the 3,400 double O line right down here. So right now we're on the M1 chart. I'm curious to see, okay, yeah, we've got what we would call a return bar right here. So look for price maybe to hit 3402, maybe not. This move so a lot of times price will go to the midpoint of what we call these return bars, these big bars, bigger than normal. Or sometimes they come all the way back to the open. And that's pretty much how that would be treated. And finally, talking about price, what we've been doing all month, and pretty much almost every time you talk trading, you talk price, but we've really been focused on price. Price goes up and down, doesn't go sideways. Some people would say this is going sideways. No, it's range bound. It's going up and down within a range. Price moves or it doesn't. It's, simple. It's binary. Either it changes or it doesn't. If it changes, it moves. It either moved up or it moved down. No sideways motion. Price is the same on all chart. You can see what the price is there. If I flip the chart, it's the same. In fact, one of the, I think, best compliments I got was from Mighty One when he said he, used to get upset with me, I guess, for months. And then finally one day he realized that. He goes, nope, the guy's right. And so I just thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this month. Hope you had a profitable month. And if you have any questions, as always, just send those questions to me either via one of the forums or the Facebook group or on the YouTube messages, but not so much private messages or email unless it's really personal in nature. But most trading questions aren't personal in nature, so let's put them out on the forum so everybody can benefit from the Q&A. In fact, somebody might provide an answer before I do, or even a better answer than I provide. So, fellow traders, just remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks.